Let me say this to the Leader of the Opposition. If he wants offshore processing to continue, and he says he does, if the Leader of the Opposition wants offshore processing for Australia, then he only needs to make one phone call. He needs to ring this Prime Minister and say that he will vote for the amendments before the Parliament. Whilst we are committed to the Malaysia arrangement and believe it is the best policy outcome, clearly, until Mr Abbott faces up to the national interest, we will not be able to implement it. In those circumstances, we are determined to continue to work in our region with our regional neighbours to do everything we can to combat people smuggling. We are also determined to continue our law enforcement work to combat people smuggling. We are determined to maintain a mandatory detention system, and we will maintain a mandatory detention system. We currently have unused capacity in our mandatory detention system. We are at a real risk of seeing more boats, and I understand that that will cause community anxiety. I believe it is very important, if we do see more boats, to separate in the community's mind, in all of our minds, the problem of seeing more boats from the people who are on those boats.
What we will do is continue to manage the network prudently and efficiently. There are a range of mechanisms available to the government to do that. As you know, we currently have been moving families and children into the community. That has been an ambitious task, but it has been a task that we have fulfilled, moving the majority of children into the community. We'll continue to do that. We'll also continue to do that, as we do at the moment, with some vulnerable adults. In addition, there are a range of powers available currently to the government that are used regularly for people who arrive in Australia irregularly by air or are visa overstayers, and then used from time to time for people who arrive by boat. Of course, they will be used more regularly as we manage the detention network so that we avoid opening more detention centres. There, of course, I'm referring to bridging visas as well as the current community detention availability that we have been implementing over the last 12 months. As I say, we can expect, as the Prime Minister has said, we can expect the possibility of more boat arrivals after the success and the various factors which have led to reductions in boat arrivals over recent months. Because of Mr Abbott and Mr Morrison failing to act in the national interest, that does mean that we will need to continue to manage our mandatory detention system and our network in such a way that ensures we maintain mandatory detention for health, identity and security checks, but we also manage people as appropriately in the community as they proceed on their processing.